Go to richmondmusicweek.com to find out about everything, and I'm gonna bring up Savage right now. Yo,
Hey,
how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I was telling, I don't know if you were on for this, but like I'm kind of excited to actually get to chat with you for more than like 3 minutes.
I know
Yeah, because
it's always in passing. Like we always have so much going on.
right, because for those who don't know, I met you through RVA Rap Elite, which we are now competing general managers.
Yes.
And each month we draft rappers like it's fantasy football, and we compete based on their scores. So this is how I met you in a very
Yep.
competitive.
Very much, very much. But it's been fun. It's been very interesting seeing how everybody kind of goes about their picks and what they do and how the whole thing works. So it's fun to be a part of.
Yeah, you know what? I always like, because I was the new blood at one point where like I kind of came in and was the fresh energy. I feel like this year you've kind of provided like a little rookie spark. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? What has? Oh, go ahead.
No, it's definitely been interesting because especially being the rookie, but still knowing a few people and a few things and whatever, it's kind of been like I'm new, but I'm not new. So
Yeah, no, you're not super new. What's something that you've kind of I guess changed in your draft preparation as you go into picking an MC each month? Now, for those who don't know, we each get 3 MCs each month, and we do like a snake draft with the other
yep.
10, the other 8 GMs. And so you may get the first pick, but then you may not get like till the 18th pick. And so how do you go about kind of planning your team? Are there any like things that you look out for? This is me just
So
trying to get
yeah,
intel.
I know, right? So I always my biggest thing is, and I think it's one of the things that kind of set me apart from everybody from the beginning, is even though it's a competition, I wasn't going for okay, who was scoring the most points all the time. I was going for who I liked, and I was going towards also feeding into rappers that like they not quite there, but I know they can do it. So for example, my team this last one we had 2 people because the summertime a lot of people been busy. So I had Luxury Prize and I had Exit 23. Now I caught a lot of slack for Luxury Prize all the time that I drafted him because, and one of the things that's important when you're MC is consistency. So he's great when he shows up, but unfortunately always showing up wasn't a thing. So that altered some of y'all drafting him. So I remember I had the #1 draft pick in the first round and I drafted him, and all of y'all looked at me like, are you sure? Like, because he was a no-show last time, and then so it was like, all right. But the artists I pick, if I can, especially if we have that relationship or that bond, I like to try to feed into them more.
Yeah.
So Exit 23, I actually had, he was in my very first draft. I drafted him. I want to say he might have been my first pick. I don't remember. But I drafted Exit 23 the first time, and I did know him. I had seen the clip from when radio does when they post the clips for who's
Who
signed
signed
up,
up? Yeah, yeah.
and they got like a little snippet of the cipher. So I'd seen that, and I was like, okay, but I like his energy. He can rap, but it was just something more I needed to kind of dig into or pull out of it. So I like being able to do that. Now my way is a little different because I'm a little aggressive sometimes. But it's all in fun. It's all in love. So, I always say that, I threaten him all the time, which I do, but it works. Like, it's just a thing, but like, he's definitely one of those. I know I gave him some notes after I drafted him the first time. And, I talked to him after, was like, hey, work on this kind of thing. And I've seen those improvements in him.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, so I like drafting people that I actually like, that I actually do, listen to, as well as trying to put something into people that are there. They just need a little bit more. So even if I don't draft you, I'll sit around afterwards and give, feedback to whoever about whatever. Now, I love saying it all the time because people are like, you rap? I'm like, no, but I do everything else. Like, I literally do everything else. Like, I host, I do photography, videography, I do content creation, I podcast management, promotions. I do everything. So I have no problem giving feedback. Plus, I like to give feedback to artists, especially from my perspective, because I'm not one. So I'm giving more from the fan and consumer point of view. Whereas a lot of time, I think y'all talk to each other as fellow artists or
Sure,
established
right.
artists, or is especially producers or whatever else. That part of you isn't too kind of technically.
Mhm.
But I'm more of kind of like a fan, a consumer. It may not be that in detail about whatever, but it's still another perspective that I believe is important for artists to have.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, us rappers, we talk about it all the time. It's like your lyrical potency is just as important as like how it sounds aesthetically. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, no, and maybe you can attest to this, and because being a GM, I always find so hard because you're right. You find like MCs that you are really rooting for that like have something but haven't quite sharpened it, or and so like you kind of build bonds with these, and to be honest, like we're rooting for everybody. Nobody's mad at but like when we put this weird evaluation number on like then things get tricky, and like it's hard to balance both of those things.
It is. And then the draft is fun too, especially when you have a bunch of artists that you like. So there are several artists that I like a lot.
Right.
And that's where like, especially the number you are in the draft is like, okay, because I know I've been like first, ninth, and like like first, 12th, and like 30th. Like, come on. So and then you have some really, really great MCs that, especially when we have a full 30 rack, those drafts get tough because I know, like, for instance, I know for a fact if they're both on there, I'm gonna want Luxury Prize and I'm gonna want BDM. But I know I can only pick one, and the other one ain't gonna make it. The other one is not gonna be around in the second round. So then it's kind of, that's when you get into that people that show up, people that are consistent, people that take time off or don't score as high or whatever else. So that definitely goes into it too, because we've seen it where someone's whole team hasn't shown up before. So you've had 2 or 3 people and nobody showed up. And then we've also had people where somebody was missing from their team and they still outscored the other team because the people that they chose were just that good. So for me, I know this last Rapper League, I had Exit 23 and I had Luxury Prize. Luxury Prize ended up winning. Exit 23 did good. He choked, but he ended up having to freestyle to come back. So that kind of cost it. So
that's one of my criteria that you talked about. Is like, one is I look at, I'm a numbers driven person, so I look at like how you've scored previously. That's my number one. My number two is like, how consistent are you showing up, and then number three is, are you likely to remember your whole verse and get through it? If I can count on you for those 3 things, I'm taking you as high as possible. You know what I'm saying? So but yeah, I mean, it's cool having you in this year for Rap Elite. But I kind of want to talk about like your other side of exposure to like hip hop and rappers and how you get started. So maybe this is how you gain some of your information.
So I actually pretty much got my start really in this back in high school. So I was living in the 757, and Norfolk State has their own radio station, and DJ INC was it started. DJ Custom was on the air when I first started listening to and calling in. And when Custom left the show and INC started, Custom told him, he was like, look, this girl calls in all the time, but she's cool, just kind of go with it, whatever else. And that ended up being it. So I always joke with him that I was the first virtual radio co-host, because
you had a job without having a job.
Exactly. So he was on air in the station and I'm just calling in, but like I'm doing drops and playing contests and everything else. So like the whole thing. So that's really where I got started. And then sometimes we'd be on the phone, just like even when he's on air and we're on the phone and he's telling me, certain things that he has going on, different things with, even though I can't see it, just how like, that's when I learned like about like the 5-second delay between like the live and all that. So yeah, so I kind of got my feeling there. I was definitely a party animal in college. I was at all the parties. That was crazy is I actually met BC my freshman year at VCU. He actually took me when me and my friends moved into the dorm and were looking for the parties. BC knew where the parties were.
Yo,
We've been around that way.
Shout outs to BC, who will be a guest on Instagram Live August 6th at 9 p.m.
Yes, that's my dog. Like it's been crazy, especially the full circle with a lot of things. But I I knew a couple promoters like Lord, when I started going outside, it was Jelly was a big promoter. Day Day was getting started. It was a lot of people, but that's back when like 534 and Bliss and Cotton Club, when it was Cotton Club and all that. So I knew some rappers then. So a lot of people in my family are rappers. I've actually got a pretty good music history. So if you ever heard of Jerome Jackson Taylor, the art of rap, that's my cousin, like blood cousin. Like, yeah, that's actual fam right there.
Yeah.
His
Virginia is
dad,
so
my
small.
uncle, my uncle is the lead singer of the Drifters. My aunt was in the choir. Yeah, so it's that. Now that's the one thing I didn't get: the actual music inclination to make music. I can't sing. I can't rap. But I'm good at tweaking. I'm good at critiques. Okay. So yeah,
you can contribute.
Yeah. So I've always kind of been around, like I said, helping my people that were around that were doing it. I've always loved that. And then I started hanging out with, a few DJs and stuff. I was with B Sounds. I was with DJ Elon. Then I was at 101 The Fan for a little while. Really started getting into some more stuff there. Then I got I locked in with Rock, and Rock is another one of our GMs. And Rock has put me to work since we met. Like, he's like, we're doing this, but I love it. So I'm on Spike Punch with him. And then that's actually how I started doing the Green Room, because he's got the show Go Live Radio. And I knew some rappers. So sometimes I would bring rappers to the show. Like, I would book him on the show. And he liked my ear because I never brought him any bad artists. Like, anybody I brought him was a good look. He liked them. So I was like, yeah. So then when Boombox moved to where they are now, they wanted Rock to come in there and do some stuff. And he was like, well, I've got a lot on my plate, but I got this chick who does a lot. So let's use her. And my first 2 green rooms, I did the interviews for Flag on the Moon. So Radio B, Big No, Bravo, Sigs. I did, I interviewed all of Flag on the Moon. And then I interviewed Super Friends. So James Jamal, Hills, and Lonnie D.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you about that because I saw that when it happened and I was like, oh my God, like what?
I was trying so hard not to completely fangirl out, because it was just like, I've known and heard of and watched and listened to these people forever, like. So to actually interview them, it was crazy, but I really liked it. And then I was on Spike Punch, and I kind of got into hang of that. And then if I like you as an artist, I'm going to feed into you. I'm going to pour into you. I'm going to do everything I can to whatever. So if I know you're good and you've never been on Go Live, hey Rock, when's your next available opening? Like, if I know you try to do whatever, like, I try to get people in Rap Elite. I try to get people to Southpaw for the battle rap. Like, I try to use people's music in my reels and stuff when I make them. But I try to do my best to support as much as I can. Especially if I really, really like you, then like, it's not always just, oh, well, that's her job. Like, it is my job, but I love my job. And I take it very seriously. So you'll hear me actually listening to people. Like, I was messing with Trig one time. We were leaving Boombox, and Trig was standing behind my car. And as soon as I started, Arthur Ashe Boulevard was playing. Like, no, I really do listen. Like, that CD is in my car.
Yeah.
Like, Trig CD is in my car. Like, it's that level with me.
No, and I think that's why I like you as much as I like poke at you in the group chats of Rap Elite. Is because I can see that there's a genuine passion and care for the people and the musicians in the area, which is why HearRVA started, which is why you really are promoting the people and the music that you like. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's really dope. I do want to ask, because you went from, I guess, being a virtual call-in co-host, right?
Yep.
To now, you know, hosting podcasts, being on different podcasts, being a photographer. How did you kind of, I guess, navigate the transition into being more of a music journalist or somebody that is amplifying other stories?
It was actually pretty easy because it was just kind of me doing almost what I naturally do. So of course, transitioning into having a podcast and like really do, because even my interviews, like I don't have questions. I don't come prepared with questions. I'll probably know whatever it is you have like coming up or going on or something general, but we really just sit down and start talking. So, and it just kind of flows. So I've had interviews that were 20 minutes. I've had interviews that were 2 hours. Like Slumdog and I, when we talking about battle rap, that interview was like 2 hours. But it was just the natural conversation, the way things go. And it's easy to, I'm one of those, if I like it, it's easy for me to support because I already like it. So I want everybody else to like it too. But I know, especially one of the things with me is if I don't like it, I don't like it. Now, I try not to be too harsh, but sometimes it happens. But that's kind of where you get into the, just because I know you and I know you make music and maybe we're cool, we're friends, whatever else, doesn't mean I'm obligated to support you. Of course, your friends should support you, but support isn't always, oh, play my music, share it, tag. No, sometimes support is telling you you shouldn't do that.
Not blind support, you know, but you should be like, hey, you should work on the vocals.
Some type of
yeah,
something. And then it's gotten to, and one of the things that I don't like, especially nowadays, is it's almost like if you don't like something, it's hate. Like, oh, you hate, like, I'm not hating, I just don't like, I've never been a Boosie fan. I'm just not. I don't hate him. It's nothing, you know, harsh against him or nothing. I'm just not a fan.
I think hating's dying, and not because there's less haters. I just think there's too many options out there to like listen to, so people understand why you don't, why you never heard of something now.
Oh, good. Sorry, my dog has decided he wants to join the interview as well. Hi, Draco. You say hi.
What's up, co-host?
But yeah, and then I've seen, you know, and it was funny because I saw an artist whose name I won't say, but they used to tag me in things a lot, and you know they would sometimes have those, oh, you know, all y'all that aren't supporting me right now, when I make it big, you know, and I'm like, you're not gonna make it big, sweetie, because it's not good, like it's not good, and it's just like, oh, you didn't play, like, no, I didn't because I don't like it. And then the other thing is, there are artists, you're not, just because we're friends doesn't mean I'm going to like your music. Yeah. So you could absolutely make music that a ton of people love. It's just not for me.
100%.
So it's nothing against you. It's nothing. It's just people have types. Like people have things that they like to hear. People have certain styles. So I can appreciate anything. So, and forgive me if I'm not allowed to say this, but the Newland Awards, I was on the committee for that. So I listened to all of those things and I was able to appreciate all of them. I was able to add some, you know, to my library. Did I like all of it? No, because not all of it is my speed, but I'm still able to appreciate whether it's good or not. So I can still say, okay, I may not listen to this album, but I know somebody who will. Yeah. I know somebody like, hey, this is right up your alley. I know you're going to like this. And that's, you know, kind of what I try to do. So even if it's not necessarily for me, I'm not going to bash it. Yeah. Just because it's not for me. But if it sucks, I'm probably going to tell you it sucks.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, because across genres, and shout out to the Newland Music Prize, which, by the way, we're doing a fundraiser for on Sunday. So if you have time, everybody, come out to Kava Club 1 to 4, raising money for them. It's a free event. We got Tyler Meacham, Tara and Andrew, and Ant the Symbol performing.
Ant performing is crazy. I gotta show up just to see what Ant's about to do, because that's gonna be interesting.
So yeah, Ant's doing a DJ set on Sunday, but he is also performing at 804 Day on this Friday. Mm-hmm. So that's I think he's going on at 7, and then he's also got the RVA pop out show at RVA Boombox on the 11th. Yep. Are you gonna be there for that one?
I will be there.
That's really dope. can you tell everybody, because you mentioned so many projects that you're involved with really fast. Can you tell people how to like listen to
Yeah.
Green Room? You know,
Yeah.
how to
So
get.
the Green Room is the podcast where I interview, you know, all types of different people. That goes on YouTube. Monday through Friday, 4 to 7, I actually have an on-air radio show at RVA Boombox called The Savage Soundtrack. Matter of fact, I did New Music Monday yesterday. I did Illa Styles' new album, which is crazy. Love it. Love it. Love that one. But let's see, Savage Soundtrack, Green Room. I do photography and videography for First Priority. So all those DJs and hosts. So Ironclad, Bellows, 6335, Mona's Lounge, Autumn. I'm at all those places with them. I'm on Spike Punch with Rock. Matter of fact, we go back on air this Thursday.
Nice.
I do booking for Go Live Radio, which is every Tuesday. I got a dog. No, but yeah, I'm pretty good with the camera. I love doing content creation and edits and stuff like that. So yeah,
Well,
shout out Miss Jackson Media Group. She sent me a dope album called The Experience, and I had that on New Music Monday a while back. But yeah, I'm definitely one of those. If you're an artist, especially a new artist, you got something new coming out, and especially if you're from Richmond, please hit me up, because I absolutely will be scrolling Instagram and find a song I like and play it on my show right then. Or if you like, you give me a heads up, and I like that turnaround time, especially if it's something I'm really into. I have no problem feeding into it. So,
well, you are definitely a person who wears so many hats. We appreciate you kind of taking some time with us tonight to kind of tell people what you do and all the great projects that you're involved with, and podcasts and venues, and just your passion for the Richmond musicians is dope. It's appreciated if nobody's told you that. It's definitely appreciated.
I appreciate it.
No problem.
It's been fun. It's been interesting. It's been fun. It's been a lot, but it's great. It's absolutely great. I love being a part of it. I love all the artists I've met and everything I've been a part of, and being able to give back in how I can, reaching out to other people. And really, and like I said, it really is a lot of dope artists. Like, I really do have a lot of music that I add to myself on a regular basis, because it's a lot of talent in Richmond. It's a lot of untapped talent in Richmond.
Richmond is definitely like that. And I got one final question for you, and I'm gonna warn you, it's gonna be petty. How are you gonna feel when I win this season of HearRVA, and it happens to be my 3rd season in a row? How are you gonna feel? I'm
going to answer you in the most Gen X millennial way possible by quoting the owl from the Tootsie Roll commercial. The world may never know.
All right, fair enough. But if it happens, I'm gonna want a response on camera. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? If it happens, I will make an entire reel about how great Illiterate is at everything he does, and how he is the best GM to ever grace HearRVA.
See, I don't know if you caught the part where I said I was gonna chop this up and put it on YouTube, so it was gonna live forever. I got it, and I said what I said. Okay, cool. Well, I really appreciate you standing on that, because I'm definitely working hard to get that 3rd ring. But I super appreciate your time tonight. I'll see you. But while we're talking about HearRVA, shameless plug. Can we get hoodies? Can the GMs get hoodies? Because those hoodies. The event hoodies for people that won. Yes. Yeah. Those are. Yeah. I like those. I think we should have uniforms so we stand out. Yes, HearRVA uniforms, absolutely. Hell yeah. Well, thank you for joining. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. All right, I'll see y'all soon. I'll catch you later. Everybody, just make sure you go to richmondmusicweek.com to see everything that's going on between the 2nd and the 11th of August.